Okay, we're going to look at some techniques to create a simple tween in Tumult Hype. First up, we're going to insert a shape. We can either do that from the insert menu and go box, or we can do it from the insert element button. Bring it in, it puts a box there. We can go to the inspector and select the element inspector. We can change the color from the color picker. I'll just close that down, and also we can make it bigger, and then we can align it up until it's center. Now there's a number of different ways we can do a tween. We can do it manually, or we can get Hype to record us. So first up, we'll just do it manually. So before I do anything, I'll look in the main timeline, and it just says box, so I'm just going to type in a more useful name. Whenever you put in elements in Hype, it will just have box text, and you need to change it so it's more meaningful. Down at the bottom of the timeline, you've got your properties. Now we've got to have the starting point, so the playback head here is right at the beginning, and how you do a tween is you need to have the origins left and top. So I'll start off with the clicking both of those, and that will put a keyframe in the first frame of our animation. Now you'll notice the that is frame 0, which is a little bit different than using Flash, which starts off with frame 1, and this relates a lot to HTML5 and JavaScript, whereas frame 1 is 0, whereas in ActionScript frame 1 is frame 1. So sometimes when you convert Flash to HTML5, that's where you sometimes have the problems. So I set that up. I'll move my playback head along to frame 4, and then again I will click in the properties timeline, origin left and origin top. So that's put those two timelines in there. You'll see a little pink diamond shape will appear. And now if I drag out, you'll see the tween line will drag across, and then I'll just stop it there. Now if I play, it drags it along. Now I can just move the playback head to one side here. I can now drag that out, and it will also drag out the properties for the tween as well. So that means it will just take a little bit longer to move more slowly. I'll stop that. We can also, down at the bottom in the properties, it's got ease in and ease out, and this is how it works. So this is ease in and out. We can also do it linear, which is a little bit more smoother. As it goes along. Now the other way we can do it is by recording what we do. I'll just delete that box again. I'll insert another box. There's a box there. I'll just put that box up here. Now what I need to do is, you've got the timeline here, and then I will just move it along to say something like frame 7, and I press the record button. I click on my shape and I move it down, and you'll see instantly the tween line moves out, and I've dragged it down there. I will uncheck the record button on the top right of the timeline, and I will now move the playback head to the beginning and play, and the tween works along the timeline that we recorded. Also we can change, we've got linear as we've just looked at. Say for example if we put bounce on there, you need to select the two elements that are in the properties timeline for origin left and origin top, and then go to bounce. And now if we play it from the beginning, it will put a little bounce on there. Right, we're going to extend our skills in tweening We've got a shape here already on our stage, and we're going to have it moving around using key frames as it moves around. So I'm going to record what I do. So I'm going to move the timeline playback head to 2 on the main timeline and then press record. Once I press record, I'm going to click on my shape. I'm just going to drag it out. Then I'm going to move the playback head along to 4, move it along. Then I'm going to move the playback head to 6, move it along again, move the playback head to 8, move it up a little bit, move the playback head to 10, and then move it along to roughly the point where it started. Always important to uncheck record because it will continue to record. I'll get my playback head to go to the start and we'll see what we've got. And you'll see it follows along the tween path, changing course when we hit each of those keyframes. Now, a little bit different than what you would have in Flash. The keyframes do not appear on the block that represents the image or the object or the element. That's in the main timeline. They'll have these little markers on there, which you can come along and see. There's little markers which show, and they correspond to where the tweens are, the little diamonds that are in the properties to do with the origin left and origin top. Now, these can also be amended. You can drag out these little diamond shapes which represent the keyframes and change them individually. So I'm doing the origin for top and left separately, or I can sort of drag and select them both. They go white and move them both at the same time to change those origins. When you do that, it just changes the movement. You'll see the dots when I drag it out there will get closer together, and as I drag them out, they will get wider apart, which will mean a change in how the speed it works at. It'll get to there and quickly move. So extending those two will make them work more quickly, or if you just do one, it will just change that, and we'll just have a little go and see what that looks like. And move them down. So you can change each one of those to amend how your animation is moving around. Make sure you line up your playback head over the keyframes, and they will highlight on a little board. You can just about see that, and then you can go straight to the stage and move it around. If you don't get them bang on, when you try and do that, it moves everything. So make sure the playback head is right over them. You'll see those two properties will highlight, the little diamond shapes will have a little white border around them, and then you can move just that, the object, in or around to change the position of the tween.